Global sea levels are currently rising at unexpected rates. Sea level rise is driven by two primary factors related to climate change: land ice loss and ocean thermal expansion. Currently, the most concerning contributions to changes in sea level come from diminishing land ice masses. First, as most mountain glaciers and polar ice sheets melt, water is released into the oceans. If Antarctica and Greenland, the Earth's largest ice sheets, melted entirely, global sea level would rise by more than 70 meters, or 230 feet. It is important to note that floating sea ice is already located in the ocean and thus does not contribute to any significant change in sea levels after it melts. However, with more loss in an ice sheet mass than what is being replaced by snowfall, measurement trends indicate a growing land ice imbalance. The second major cause of sea level rise is ocean thermal expansion. As ocean temperatures rise, the warmer water expands. Increasing concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are causing Earth's surface temperature to rise. The ocean absorbs over 90% of the additional heat, causing them to expand and take up more room. With the ocean's enormous capacity to store heat, thermal expansion is expected to continue to be one of the largest contributing factors to global sea level rise. Consequently, global sea level has risen about 20 centimeters since the beginning of the 20th century and over 5 centimeters in the last 20 years. Here is Florida's present-day coast before the simulation. This is what Florida's coast is expected to look like by the year 2100 as a result of a projected 6-foot rise in sea level. Currently, global sea level is rising by 3.24 millimeters per year, with a predicted 1 to 4 feet rise around the world by the year 2100. As sea levels continue to rise rapidly, even small increases threaten coastal communities and habitats. Although sea level rises at different rates around the world, the projected global increase will bring about devastating realities, including coastal flooding, eroding shorelines, saltwater contamination of freshwater supplies, flooding of coastal wetlands and barrier islands, and an increase in salinity of estuaries. More areas will become increasingly vulnerable to flooding, pushing residents to relocate, while some low-lying islands could submerge completely. Unfortunately, many high-risk countries lack the resources and economic ability to adapt with proper infrastructure, displacing millions of people all over the world and especially among island nations. Over 62 million people call the world's 52 island nations their home. Together, these societies contribute to less than 1% of global greenhouse gas emissions, yet they face a disproportionate threat from the changing climate that humans cause globally. Among the most vulnerable of these island states are the Marshall Islands and the Cook Islands in the Pacific Ocean. What you see here is a projection of sea level rise along the coast as a result of increased storm surge and high tides. To put this into perspective, Southern California's sea level rise predictions range from 42 to 167 centimeters by the year 2100, being one of the biggest threats to our state's sandy beaches. Surrounded by rising seas and coastal development, beaches along the coastline will become narrower with nowhere to go. Nearly 60% of the shoreline will not be able to migrate landward because it is trapped by man-made infrastructure. This means a loss in valued recreational space and loss of habitats for many beach-residing animals. Unless we do something about greenhouse gas emissions now, sea level will continue to rise well beyond this century.